My name is Alex Riley. That's Alexriley. I'm a Republican running for state representative in Missouri's 134th district.
Okay. What issue is most important to you as we head into November?
It's building our economy. Even before COVID hit here in Springfield, we had 25% or more poverty rate. Even though we had low unemployment rates, that poverty rate still speaks to a lot of issues that we have in our local economy. So increasing quality jobs here in the Springfield area is really probably my top priority.
Okay. What are we doing wrong right now, if anything, and what will you do differently if you win?
So that's a broad question. And I think I'll mostly focus on economic issues. I think for too long we haven't had enough focus on really trying to improve the lives of those who are struggling the most financially. And that's, I think both parties are to blame for that. With respect to our friends on the other side, they tend to just throw money at the problem and think that that's going to fix it. And Republicans haven't been focused nearly enough on really getting to the root of the problem and proposing solutions that will help those folks financially. So that, for me, a lot of what I want to focus on is cutting the barriers down that prevent people that are struggling financially from getting out of those tough situations and rising to the top.
Okay. What do you believe is most important to the district?
So again, I'm going to focus on economic issues just because I think, especially where we are with the COVID situation and being under lockdown for a while and losing a lot of our small businesses in Springfield and the district, having a laser focus on improving our economic conditions here in Springfield and specifically in my district are really key.
What do you believe is top of mind for voters right now? Economy, race, or COVID-19, which is the biggest concern, and how would you address it?
I think it's a mix. So here in Springfield, I think it's kind of a mixture of COVID and the economy. Those two things are directly related. So on one hand, with COVID, you have the health concerns, and those are very real. There's no question that COVID has hurt the health of a lot of our folks here in Springfield. We've lost a lot of lives. We've had a lot of, especially in the elderly population, people that it's really hurt. But then, in turn, we do have the economic situation with the lockdowns, the decrease in jobs and lost businesses. That all goes directly to the economy, but also is directly related to COVID and government's response to COVID.
How would you reassure voters you'll fight for what they want?
Yeah, and I think that's a good question, and it's something that I do every day when I'm on the front porches meeting with folks and figuring out, okay, I have some ideas about what I want to do to improve our economic situation, but I'm not going to claim to have the silver bullet that's going to address everything that ails Springfield, everything that ails the state of Missouri. So one of the key things for me is listening to the people in my district, listening to the voters, listening to the constituents, finding out what are their concerns, and then more importantly, well, maybe not more importantly, but as important, figuring out, okay, and what solutions do you think we should try that might work? That's one of the keys for me is finding out what ideas people have to help address the situation. And I especially want to hear from folks that don't necessarily automatically agree with me. That's one of the things that I tell people all the time when I'm on their front porch is, I know you and I are probably not going to agree on everything, but I don't ever want that to be a barrier to you reaching out. I always want to hear your thoughts and your ideas, and especially when you don't agree with me, I want to know what you think.
Why run for office?
I've been politically active since I was about 12 years old. So this is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, though I didn't necessarily plan on doing it now. In fact, just from a personal level, the timing really couldn't be worse. I've got a 1.5-year-old son. I've got a daughter due here in just a few weeks. I've got a law practice, which is it's fairly young in its establishment. But I saw some things going on at the national level and in states around the country that were really troubling. And it really struck me that if I don't stand up and fight for the things that I believe in and fight to make our community a better place and try and fight back against some of those forces that we're seeing really cause so much harm in other places, then we might not have the same community that I grew up here in Springfield in. And realizing that made me decide, I can't sit on the sidelines while this type of thing is going on. Yeah, it's going to be inconvenient. Yeah, it's going to be tough, but I have to stand up and fight for what I believe in and what I want to accomplish and the things that our community and my district wants to accomplish.